Warren here, and you've joined us for the weekly Our Millwall Fan Show with the Millwall No One Likes Us Talking team, which is broadcast every Friday evening. Enjoy!
Welcome back to the 2021-22 series of Millwall No One Likes Us Talking's Our Millwall Fan Show, in the 10th show of our new freedom post-lockdown. I'm your host, James Kelly, and I have the No One Likes Us Talking team of Patricia Maslin, Stan Godwin and Bethany Warren.
Not everybody likes them, but they don't care.
So the weekend just gone saw us pick up our first win on the road this season, making it our first set of back-to-back wins this season as well, with a 1-0 victory against Barnsley, with Murray Wallace scoring in the 89th minute. Evening, Pat. What did you make of the result?
Decent all-round performance. 2 changes from the midweek win with Jed and Jake coming in. It did look like one of our better performances this season. But then again, it was against Barnsley, who were poor for most of the game. There seemed to be an air of despair over Oakwell, with their fans. The whole vibe of the place is depression up there. I'm not going to drag us down. You're saying that the football has been very unattractive this season because it was 2 back-to-back wins. So well done, Millwall.
I mean, you talk about Barnsley being poor, but actually, over the years, Barnsley have been a bit of a bogey team for us. So, Stan, what do you make of it? A 1-0 win?
Well, I was well pleased. I mean, whether Barnsley are on the down, well, to be honest, I'm not bothered. That's not my problem. We went up there, we got 3 points, and I mean, I did. I was sitting here listening to on the television, and I did tweet at the time that I was watching Sky Sports on Saturday, and up until about 2 minutes before we actually scored, there'd been no report from the game at all. Right, and I thought, well, that's pretty poor. Anyway, then they mentioned the game, and then about 2 minutes later, Murray Wallace scored. It was a good goal, and but as you say, James, I mean, Barnsley have been a bogey team to us in the past, and they're the sort of games we've gone all that way, got all that, got within touching distance of a draw, and then we end up losing it. So to win it is a good thing in my view, and and that's fine by me. I've got no problem. What the performance was like, I don't know because I've not seen it, but we won it, so that's all that mattered.
That's the main thing, exactly. Bethany, 2 wins in a row now. Do you think that our season's fully started?
I'd say so. It's usually about this time of year that we start our unbeaten runs. I think it's the past couple of seasons, isn't it? After the international break, we have like a 17 game or a 19 game unbeaten run. So heading into the international break now, it can only go up from here, and we're in such a good position in the table at the moment. I don't see. I'm just really positive about it. I think the only place we can go is up. So that's maybe wishful thinking on my part, but
yeah, no, I completely agree. I mean, as you said, we are sort of late bloomers. We do start the season pretty slowly, and to put it into perspective, 10 days ago we were 19th in the league. We've won 2 games and we're now 11th, 3 points off the playoffs. So that just shows how quickly the tide can turn in the Championship.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Just wish the football was better.
Well, I mean, we've had really rough luck with injuries this season so far. So Gary Rowett's come out and said that we should have a fully fit squad in time for Luton. So hopefully we can kick on from that and we can get a third win and one at home again.
That's the thing I've found frustrating. That we keep getting these injuries. I mean, you think, well, we just got over this. This bloke comes back, and then like Mason Benny, he hadn't missed the first couple of games. Then he comes in, and then the next thing he's injured. He's only played 1 game, and then he's injured again.
I don't think he's a key part of the team, though. I mean, when we had all those injuries, there was only 2 players really who would have been in the squad who were missing, and I think Hutch was on the bench that game anyway. So I think it was Ojo who was out. I think it's a misdemeanor with all these injuries we keep talking about.
Well, hopefully we can push on, as I said, with an injury-free squad for the next game against Luton. Yeah, so we're going to take a break there and listen to Bethany Warren talking about Sands United.
We know that some men can struggle to talk about how they're feeling after the death of a baby. We hope that by building trust and a common bond, by playing together as a team, many more will be able to break their silence about baby loss and help others to do the same. Sands United FC has already saved the lives of men left feeling like they had no one to turn to in their grief. Are you a father who has lost a child? Talk to Sands United. They will help. Contact them on sufclondon@gmail.com. That's sufclondon@gmail.com. They will help.
I'm James Kelly, and I have the No One Likes Us Talking team of Patricia Maslin, Stan Godwin and Bethany Warren. This Sunday, Sands United go to Dorking Wanderers FC to play Sue's All-Stars at 3 o'clock in a charity match, with all proceeds going to Sands UK. There's a £5 entry fee and it's free for under 16s. So if you're not about watching the Millwall Romans or the Lionesses, why not have a Sunday lunch and watch our match in Dorking? Our first guest hails from Lambeth in South London and started his football journey towards professional status as a youth player with Chelsea, which eventually brought him to the Den in 1984. He became captain and suited the George Graham and Theo Foley revolution that stabilised the Lions in the second tier. He played 273 games for us and scored 15 goals. The rest is a fantastic history of a man who is our most legendary captain, as he and his teammates brought top-flight football to the Den. Welcome to the show, Les Briley.
Thank you very much.
Evening, Les.
Lovely to be.
All right, Les.
Lovely to hear and be with you all.
Thank you. Lovely to have you as well.
Happy birthday for yesterday, Les.
Oh, happy birthday.
Thank you. Getting old now.
Yeah. So Les, before I let you off to the panel, since you left Millwall for Brighton, you returned to the Den and have undertaken numerous roles within the club. Can you share with our listeners what you've been up to?
Yeah, I came back. Mickey Beard actually got me back because I was an A licensed coach past my qualifications. And Mick had said to me, "What are you doing?" And didn't live far from me. I said, "I've just passed my A licence." And he said, "Oh, great." He said, "Fantastic. Do you want to come and do some coaching?" So that was it. And that was me coming back to the Den. And I've been there ever since Mick invited me, taking on lots of roles in the academy, then going into the girls department, community as well, as technical director of women's football, and then getting involved with getting the Lionesses up to the top flight of their football, the WSL. So yeah, I suppose, and obviously then came a bit of hospitality, and it's been there ever since, and it's been joyful and it's been an absolute pleasure.
Brilliant stuff.
Hi Les, it's Bethany. It's lovely to talk to you today.
Hi, Bethany.
Hiya. There is an iconic image of you at the Old Den raising the Barclays Championship trophy on winning 1987-88 Division 2 Championship before the final game of the season. My dad tells me that it was absolutely packed. People were just full of emotion and it was an incredible sight. So how did it feel for you?
Unbelievable day. I couldn't believe that we'd actually done it after everybody had kind of written us off at Christmas, and St and Greavesy it was at the time. God bless Greavesy. They said, "Oh, it's going to be Aston Villa and it's going to be Leeds United. They're going to win, the second division, and of course there's Millwall, of course, and that was all we got. It was a mention, and it was, that really spurred us on for the second half of the season. And it was just incredible, the run that we went on. We just couldn't believe it, how many games we'd actually won, to get into the top flight, and so proud for everybody, and a fabulous day back at the Den. It was just incredible, really.
Brilliant. Hi Les, it's Pat here.
Hi, Pat.
How did you come? Hi. How did you come to us from being a youth player at Chelsea?
I left Chelsea obviously, and I was a pro at Chelsea, and I couldn't get in the first team because they had some crap players like Ray Wilkins, Ray Lewington, John Hollins, Stevie Kemba, them kind of players. You know, I couldn't get in front of them because they were really exceptional. So you have to leave these big clubs and then go and find a little club and make your way, which I did. I went and left and went up to Hereford United with John Sillett, who was an ex-Chelsea player and then manager of Hereford United. And believe it or not, they was in the second division, and Chelsea were also in the second division. So I was getting into a team that I could play in, which was Hereford United, and I was playing against the Ray Wilkins, the Ray Lewingtons, Stevie Cambers and John Hollins of the world, and the Hutches and Osgoods, because they were in the same division as Hereford United at the time. And sadly, we didn't stay in the second division, got relegated, and then it came because they got me on a free. Dario Gradi had left Chelsea and then made his way to Wimbledon, and then Wimbledon bought me for a fabulous fee of 20 grand. And yeah, great deal of money. And then that was how I made my move back to London. And then after 2 years, Dario decided that he'd sell me as well because the club was short of money. So off I went to Aldershot for 40 grand. And then there was a couple of years at Aldershot, which didn't do my career any good. So we wasn't going nowhere. And then George Graham came and brought me to Millwall from Aldershot. So that was kind of the little journey. You know, you stay a couple of years at a club, they sell you on, then another couple of years and then sell you on, and et cetera, et cetera. And fortunately, George had come and rescued me.
Oh, I mean, what did you think about coming to Millwall? I mean, you must have had sort of thoughts on the club before coming.
Yeah, I mean, it's a South London club, and I'm born and bred in South London. And I'd had as a kid, I'd came down and had trials at Millwall and at Crystal Palace and other places. You kind of get on the list of everybody, and they come and look at you, and then they offer you a trial. And so I'd been offered, and I'd seen a bit of Millwall, and I liked a bit. And it was quite eye-opening. And George painted a great picture, obviously. He said that we was a club going places. I wasn't sure where that was going to be, but and he said we had a wonderful training ground, which was Deptford Park, Cinders.
Yeah, I used to go and watch you.
which I thought was great. The first training session, I came back and I was absolutely smothered in cuts and bruises and cuts from the cinders because you make tackles on your knees and all sorts back in the day. So I knocked on George's door and said, so much for the nice training ground that we've got. And he went, oh, well, we are going to move. And I said, well, you better make it quick, otherwise I'll be moving, George. But yeah, no, it was great. And he painted a great picture, and obviously we got it right.
Excellent.
Butcherless, it's Stan here. Good to talk with you again. We had Phil Coleman on the show last week, and he spoke very highly of the management team of George Graham and Theo Foley. How would you describe the impact they had on you and the team?
Well, it was fabulous. As I say, George painted a great picture of the club, which is what you want. And he said the fans were passionate, which obviously we found that out. And he said that the club was going places, and I kind of questioned that a little bit. But, he was great. And Theo was absolutely brilliant. He was marvellous. He was great at getting everybody going and motivating, great advice. George was obviously outstanding. He would do a demonstration and you'd have to copy the demonstration. And sometimes you couldn't always copy it because George was so good as a player, and he would demonstrate, this is how I want it done, this is what I want. And, you know, he was still a young man. It was his first job in football and keen to impress. And that's what he did. He did a really great job. And Phil was right. You know, they're an outstanding combination and proved that of what they did at Arsenal.
Les, I've listened to the Les Briley special series that you recorded with Eamon. In one story, you described the importance of Jimmy Carter, Kevin O'Callaghan, and how Terry Hurlock and you had the responsibility to get the ball out to them. Can you share your thoughts on how this tactic paid dividends for the team?
Yeah, I mean, Jimmy had pace. Kevin was clever. He had a little bit of pace, but not as much as Jimmy. Jimmy was outstandingly quick. So you could put a ball into Jimmy's feet and know that he would, within a couple of touches, he'd be going at the fullback, taking him on, getting him wide areas, getting great crosses in the box for Cass and Teddy. And that's why we were so good at what we did. And Callie was the same. Callie was a great crosser of the ball. And he was trickery. He was great. He only needed half a yard and he'd whip across into the front or the back of the box, and Teddy and Cass would get across defenders, which you don't see very much these days. And they would put the ball in the net. They were great finishers as well. And that's the things that we practiced an awful lot. You know, you could put Jimmy in behind and he would give the fullback 3 or 4 yards and he would end up beating him by 2 or 3 yards and, you know, still deliver great crosses. And that was all our job was just to feed them. That was John's information. Just feed it wide, get it wide, let them do it, and then get on the edge of the box. Make sure you're on the edge of the box for knockdowns when the ball comes out of the edge of the box.
Going a bit off piste here, Les. I've been with one of your old teammates all day today. I'm not saying who, but he's asked me to ask. He's asked me to ask Spam, why did you not join in with? Why did you not join in with water fights in the corridors at hotels on away games?
Great question. Who was you with? You're not going to tell me, are you?
He's told me to, so I can't say.
Well, the reason I couldn't join in water fights. Why do you think that was? Because I was captain, and if the captain seemed to be playing silly games, I mean, that wouldn't go down well with the manager. And John used to include me in everything. So if there was a curfew of a night going out and everybody had to be back, I was the last one back in because I had to make sure everybody got back in on time in the curfew, and they were pretty good at getting in things like that. So me joining in water fights really it's not the done thing for the captain to be doing that kind of thing. And then
he said there was all like there with their towels trying to mop it up. Yeah.
Well, sometimes there was no towels. But yeah, I couldn't be seen, you know, with a towel on or walking down the corridor with a bottle. I suppose I could have always said that I was just picking up a bottle, and you know, but no, I couldn't see me doing that realistically.
No, you said you was very, very strict.
I had to. John trusted an awful lot in me, and I couldn't be. I couldn't be outrageous. I couldn't be.
No.
Yeah, I couldn't really let my hair down. Not that I had that much hair, but I couldn't just be one of the lads kind of thing. I had to be kind of half staff, if you like, because I had to set an example to everybody else, and that's why. But yeah, I certainly enjoyed myself other times when we went out and things like that, you know, which I can't talk about on air.
But he told me today.
Les.
Yeah.
Well, the mind boggles. Les, I tell you something. I don't know whether you're aware of this. I mean, I certainly wasn't until a couple of years ago. When we was in our first season in the First Division, or the old First Division, I got a mate and he come up to me and he's a Charlton fan, right? And he said to me one day, "Do you know what?" he said, "You achieved something," he said, "that we at Charlton could never do." And I sort of said, "Well, that's a bit wide of the mark in it." I said, "Because there's plenty of things we do that you could never do." I said, "Well, what is it?" And he turned around and he said, in your first season in the First Division, he said, "Do you realise," he said, "that you finished above Manchester United?" And I said, "Well, no, I didn't realise as it is." He goes, "So was you aware of that, Les?"
Yeah. But it was just one of them things. I mean, we had a tremendous run, and you couldn't fault the run that we had. It was outstanding. We're top of the league, and who would have thought in October we'd be top of the league? And all right, it wasn't for very long, but the first season in the First Division was incredible. I mean, some of the results were like outrageous. Getting beat 5-0, Man City, 5-1 or 5-0 again by Man United. But we finished 10th in the league, and that was credible. Right. You take that, wouldn't you?
As I say, he told me this. The other thing is, how would you have described your experiences home and away playing for Millwall with the support of the fans?
Support of the fans is always outstanding. They're fantastic. I remember going to Villa and them screaming at Terrier, like, "Where is your caravan?" and things like that, singing that. Just, and the Millwall fans just responded fantastically and just sung their hearts out. And it was like having an extra player, to be honest. And we needed it because, we'd never been in the First Division. I'd never played in the First Division. I played against First Division players, but it was a fabulous experience for the whole club. I mean, it's just unbelievable, really. The fans were outrageously fantastic. Support the whole time, even when we're 3-0 down at Man City, still singing, still chanting, still getting behind the team. Just outstanding. The fans were magnificent. Probably the best fans in any club's history of fans. Because they're just great. They're just fantastic.
Yeah. Just one final question, Les. You mentioned earlier when you was you was talking about Mickey Beard. Is that the same Mickey Beard that lives out in Cyprus?
It is, yeah.
Now, the reason I asked the question is because simple. I mean, me and him used to play in the same team together. Back in the 60s when we was coming up to leaving school. And no, I just wondered. No, that's fine. No, that's okay. Yeah. Because I often, so I just wanted to make sure. But no, that's fine. Yeah, he was a good player. He was, old Mick.
It was great. He was great at introducing kids and getting older kids and for the academy. And he would go out scouting. He'd ring me up. At the time, we had good scouts at the club. Yeah, he was all for the club and loved it. And it was, he was brilliant and getting me back in the club and got involved in quite a few things. I think.
Yeah, me and Mick, we actually played in the football. We played in a cup final, and I didn't find out until many years later when I was talking to Eamon. It turned out that he was in the opposition that day, and they beat us. And oh right, yeah. 1969 that was.
Wow.
The day of the cup final when Man City beat Leicester. In that morning, we played in this other cup final, and Eamon was on the other side. But I didn't find out until a couple of years ago. So,
I bet Eamon was pleased about that.
Well, he was, yeah. Anyway, all right then, mate. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Les, one from me. Obviously, we got promoted to the first division in '88, finished mid-table in '89, but then obviously we suffered a second season spout, and then obviously got relegated. I was just wondering, what would you put that down to, if you could, if looking back on it now?
Probably not investing in enough players, because we were getting to the stage where some of us were getting a little bit older, and we were picking up more injuries in the second year. In the first year, you can look at some of the appearances that players have made, and there are quite a few appearances. So to keep doing that season in, season out, and especially when you're upgrading into Premier League, or as it was in the day, the first division, the fitness levels, the injury levels, they all start to creep up and up because you're at a higher intensity. So we needed a bigger squad, and we didn't. I think we might have bought one or two, but definitely no more than one or two players. So probably I put that down to lack of experience in that department. But yeah, definitely not enough players in the squad. We had a good squad, but a lot of the players that were squad players didn't have a lot of experience. And when they came into the side, I'm not blaming them for that. You know, when you get your key players missing, you know, AK, you look at football and you look at Liverpool in particular, you know, they've been missing key players last season and didn't do so well. So we had a lot of players that were missing. Terry went missing for a while. I went missing for a while. Teddy did. And there was spells where you missed 2 or 3 players in the side, and we didn't quite have enough strength in depth, I don't think. And that was probably the end of it. And also as well, losing Johnny Dock at Christmas time was huge. And to this day, I still don't know what that's all about and why he left. And, you know, having spoke to John definitely, he just keeps stum and doesn't say anything about it. So, you know, unfortunately, I can't show too much of a light on that. But that's, for me, you know, not enough strength in depth in the squad.
Yeah. Well, thanks for taking the time to have a chat with us, lads. It's been a privilege to talk to you today.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much. There's so much more we could ask you, but unfortunately we're out of time. So you'll have to come back and talk to us in the near future. But before you go, thank you. Before you go, obviously there's no Millwall this weekend because of the international break. So where do you predict we'll finish this season? I know it's early days, but if you could give us a prediction now, where would we finish?
I would love us to be in and around the top 6. So I think maybe 8th to 6th. I think maybe that's where we'll finish. Hopefully I'm right. And if we can creep into the top 6, that would be marvellous. But who knows? Football's a funny game, and you just don't know what's going to happen. And that's the great thing about it. You know, you can turn up one week and play outstanding. Next week, you turn up and think to yourself, right, I'll play as well as I did last week, and it just don't happen. And that's part and parcel of football, isn't it? You know, some weeks you turn up and they're great. Some weeks you turn up not so good. But hopefully 6th to 8th and creep in that top 6.
Excellent stuff. Love the enthusiasm. Okay, well, thanks again, Les, and we wish you and your family all the best.
Great. Thanks. All the best to everybody. Thank you for having me on, and good luck to everybody on the panel tonight.
Cheers, Les.
Thank you very much.
Les.
Thank you.
Right. Cheers, Les.
See you later, Les.
Cheers.
Bye.
Yeah, bye.
And that was Les Briley there. We're going to take a break now and listen to Debbie Julians and Harvey Brown talking about the Lions Food Hub.
First of all, let's hear from Harvey Brown.
Have you heard of the Lions Food Hub? It is now located in the Millwall Community Trust car park. That's beside Millwall's Den in Ballina Road. That Millwall Lioness, Kelly Webster, is involved. Don't forget to help the Lions Food Hub if you can. Thank you.
As Harvey said, they need support, and you can help if you can by making a one-off or a regular monetary donation online at Banquet, that is BANKUET, or on a Saturday you should make donations pre-match at the hub about 50 metres down from the Lions store. Alternatively, you can also contact the team via their Twitter and Facebook sites.
I'm James Kelly, and I have the No One Likes Us Talking team of Patricia Maslin, Stan Godwin and Bethany Warren. 10% of UK adults live in marginally food poverty households. If you can help, your kindness will be much appreciated. Next up, we hear from Ellis Barr.
Ellis here. Thank you for watching my videos. Now to hear what the Millwall Lionesses and Romans have been up to. Come on, Millwall!
Millwall Romans faced Millwall Pride for the first time ever in the London Unity League on Sunday. Eamon caught up with Paul Loding, tells us what happened.
Hi, Eamon. It was obviously a really bit of a historic day for us on Sunday, having the two teams play each other for the first time. It was a really good atmosphere there, to be fair, down at St Paul's. And to be fair, for the first sort of 20-25 minutes, it was relatively even. The Romans team obviously come off victorious, but it was a really good day of football. And I think from the Pride team, they will pick up points. You know, they're playing the right way. They're trying to play out from the back, which Andy is encouraging. It's only their second game together. I think they'll, as they start getting a bit more used to playing with each other, I think they will go out and they will give teams some good battles. But so it was a really, really good day down at St Paul's with the marathon as well outside. And the Romans team came out victorious. So looking forward on Sunday, the Pride team have got a bit of a break, and Romans are playing away in the GFSN Cup. So it's going to be a good battle of a cup game. That's at Hackney Marshes at 2:00. So we're going to go out and obviously try and get back into the final and bring the cup home next year. Soho, really good team. They're not going to rest, and obviously we are playing on grass, which isn't used to our style that we have at St Paul's. On Monday evening, a few of us went to Stamford Bridge. There was an event being hosted by Clare Balding. It was just about inclusivity within football and what clubs can do a little bit more. And we were there just representing the Millwall Community Trust, which we got a good couple of mentions, which was really good. And just sort of going through some bits and pieces of what we can do to make football a bit more inclusive. It does seem to still be a little bit behind the times when it comes to that, but it's just nice to sort of go to an event like that, discuss a few things and get a few plans moving forward.
And Jeff Burnige travelled to Chislehurst on Sunday for the Vitality FA Cup game between Glebe Ladies and the Lionesses, and here is his review.
Last Sunday, Millwall Lionesses defeated a hard-working Glebe Ladies 4-0 at Glebe's Chislehurst ground in the FA Cup. This has earned the Lionesses a home tie versus Fleet Town on the 24th of October at St Paul's Stadium, Salter Road, Rotherhithe. The Glebe match was probably the last match under the caretaker management of Greg McElhinney and Alex Russell before the arrival of new manager Jack Wheeler, and was their second consecutive victory. Both are staying on the coaching staff under Jack. Goals in the 4-0 win at Glebe were shared around, with M. Stanley, Maisie Joyce and Lucy Belitho putting us 3-0 up before a debut goal for Cadence Kabadaki completed the comfortable victory. This Sunday, Millwall Lionesses return to Regional League action with a home match against Whiteleaf. This will be the first match under new manager Jack Wheeler, and we expect him to receive a warm welcome from the fans. Kick-off at St Paul's Stadium in Salter Road, Rotherhithe is at 2 p.m. Thanks to the Millwall Community Trust and Southwark Council, entry is free for everybody. So let's take the opportunity to get behind Jack and the players.
And Eamon also caught up with the newly appointed boss of the Lionesses, and here is what he had to say.
I've caught up with Jack Wheeler. He's the new manager that's been appointed for Millwall Lionesses. Jack, what's your reaction to being appointed as the new boss of the Millwall Lionesses?
I'm overjoyed and really pleased to get this done, and obviously thank you to Sean and obviously all the club that have made it happen. But no, I'm just really pleased to get started, and really pleased to represent Millwall with the Lionesses, and obviously can hopefully push them onwards and upwards.
And you've got quite some background as a coach and in the game. You bring a lot with you.
Yeah, I've been involved in the game for almost 10 years in terms of the women's game. And I've had a lot of experience at a number of clubs in higher levels and higher leagues. And obviously the experience that you've gained in terms of contacts and players and how to run the team, I'm hoping that I can come into Millwall and make a real positive change and a real positive start with a squad. I was fortunate on Wednesday to meet the team and to create a nice positive attitude and a nice positive environment for the girls to hopefully this year go on and succeed.
Thanks for talking to us, Jack.
Thank you very much.
Well, that is a unique situation, Romans v Pride, and a great result for the Lionesses, two-time winners of the Women's FA Cup in the past. So what do we make of the latest round of results then, and, of course, the appointment of Jack Wheeler? Patricia, what are your thoughts?
Well, I don't know much about Jack, so I don't really know what he's going to do. Lionesses have been doing really well. As you said, that 4-0 cup win, back-to-back with a win in the league. They're definitely on the up there. Be nice to go along and see them at some point. It's just great that Millwall have taken the step of bringing in the LGBTQ plus community. It's just a shame the media don't take more attention of it. But no, well done, Millwall.
Good. Bethany, what about you?
Yeah, kind of to reiterate what Pat just said, really. It's so nice to see a club like ours, including the LGBTQ plus community, and like Pat just said, those kind of things never get reported in the media, but as soon as there's a little bit of negativity from anything potentially related to Millwall, that's there straight away. So I'd love to see some more stuff about the Millwall Romans and Pride in the news. But yeah, for the Lionesses, I've not been to see them for a long time, so I'd love to get down there. I definitely think that with the new appointment of Jack, we can absolutely get back to where we should be. No doubt about it.
Love the optimism, Bethany. And last but not least, Stan, what do you make of it?
Well, it all sounds very positive at the moment. We've got the new manager coming in relationship to the Millwall Lionesses, so that will be an interesting thing to see. And as for the other two teams, well, I mean, it's all boding well for the future, isn't it? And the club or not so much the club, but the Millwall Community Trust have got a bit of vision about them. And it's all ticking over very nicely, and long may that continue. And I happen to agree with what Bethany says when, if there's anything positive to talk about Millwall, they go missing. But at the moment, there's some little bit of, some sort of, if they think there's some sort of little issue there, and if they can blow it up out of all recognition, they do so. And but I mean, that's just the way it is, unfortunately. And we're probably stuck with that for a long, long time. But no, I mean, as we say, no one likes us, we don't care. And we just carry on doing what we're doing. And we're certainly on the right road at the moment. Absolutely no doubt about that at all.
Yeah, I'm loving the optimism, guys, and I completely agree with everything that's been raised. And also, of course, it's great to hear that the Millwall Romans v Millwall Pride went along really nicely. Sounded like a very good game of football and a very well-spirited competition between both sides, according to Paul. So obviously as we've said earlier, we've got a week off for the Lions this week, and our preview will return next week. However, we're going to take a break there and listen to what Fantastic Fanatics can do with a little bit of help from ourselves. And that's all of us.
Hi, I'm Richard Gordon, and I'd like to invite you to become a Fantastic Fanatic. Fantastic Fanatics is a great way to raise funds for your sports club. Sign up today, find your club, and securely register your everyday debit and credit cards. Every time you spend with our retail partners, they pay a percentage back to your club. It costs you nothing, and you can win cash prizes along the way. Visit fantasticfanatics.com and help your club be the best it can be.
I'm James Kelly, and I have the No One Likes Us Talking team of Patricia Maslin, Stan Godwin and Bethany Warren. Why not reward the Millwall Community Trust every time you buy through the Fantastic Fanatics site? Our final guest tonight is a regular to the show, and along with his responsibility as CEO for the Millwall Community Trust, he's also the chair of the Lionesses Committee. So let's say a big warm welcome to Sean Daly.
Good evening, Sean. Good evening all, hope you're well.
Very well, thanks, Sean. Before I let you off to the panel, what an event at the Den last Saturday with your Millwall Community Trust ambassador, Kelly Webster, getting married to Ellen Butler. I know our very own photographer extraordinaire, Patricia Maslin, was in attendance, and a few other members of the team. How would you describe the day?
Quite an emotional day, I think. I thought great venue, lots of people there, and just a great day it was. I really enjoyed it. I think everyone enjoyed it, and it was just nice to see them both, and both of them relaxing, not actually working for a change, which was quite interesting.
Hi Sean, it's Bethany. It's lovely to talk to you this evening. It's exciting times for the Lionesses, back-to-back wins, and the newly appointed manager, Jack Wheeler. What is it about Jack that made him the right person for the job?
So when Katie sort of stepped down as the Lionesses manager, we thought as a committee we needed to act quickly. So we put Alex and Greg in as like interim, but straight away looked for a new manager straight away. And to be fair, we put it out via social media and all the websites, etc. And we had lots of interest. A lot of interest, and we sort of nailed it down to 3 or 4 that we interviewed, and being times as it is, we interviewed the people over Zoom, and then I went and met them individually to see what they were like. You know, it's okay to have in a Zoom interview, but I wanted to look them in the eyes and tell them sort of like, you know, what was their thoughts around the Lionesses and what was their project and where they think they could take the Lionesses. Jack came with a wealth of experience, talking about his knowledge about Gillingham and players that he's worked with, and he just seemed the right fit. So I had another meeting with him on the Saturday, went back to the committee and just sort of said, look, myself, I believe Jack could be the one that could take us there. You know, he's got a great philosophy about bringing young players through. He appreciated the history of the Lionesses and the opportunities for the academy girls to go make that step up and play for the Lionesses. So he sold me down the line straight away that I felt he was the right person for it.
Excellent. All right, Sean, it's Pat here. I will be down soon to take photos of both the Romans and Pride to get their team photos done. I'm organising that at the moment with Paul. But beyond that, that's okay. Beyond that, I noticed last week that the MCT featured walking sports for International Older People Day. Not for myself, you understand. So what does actually go on and what can people expect? Because George Lampier is very interested in it.
Yeah, so we have 2 sort of venues for our walking sports, and they're open to the older generation to sort of like still be engaged in sport, but it's more of a social project really. To get the older people to engage with each other, it's, you know, spend a morning with other people, play a little bit of a walking sport, whether it's cricket, basketball, football, netball, but really it's a social aspect of it really, making sure they're not isolated, have something to look forward to every week. I mean, with some of the older people we bring in by bus or we try and support them with a taxi to get to the venue. But it's that friendship thing, you know, they feel a bit isolated, especially if it's happened with the pandemic, etc. And they need that sort of somewhere they can go that they know is going to be on every week. They know there's going to be people there with the same interests as them. And it's more, I know it's wrapped around being, you know, walking sports, but I think it's more about being a social project, about people engaging with my coaches, having a talk, you know, and sort of like, how can we support them in any way? You know, if it's, they need their shopping delivered, you know, they need to get somewhere, how can we help them that way? And I think the catch is come and play a little bit of physical activity, but it's more of a social project.
Oh, sounds amazing. Well done.
What's your Sean? Stan here, mate.
Hi, Stan.
It's all right. It's almost half term again, and the kids can look forward to the Millwall Community Trust October half term football and multi-skills camp. What's happening, where, when, or how can people get to come along?
Yeah, so I mean, all year we've been offering free camps and food for the children, all during Easter and summer. We'll be putting that project again on at Christmas. So we've put all our efforts into getting funding for, I think, around 10 days over Christmas. But I want to put something on in October because I think kids have gone back to school. They're beginning to engage with each other. They're beginning to take part in sport, outside sport. So we're going to put on a multi-sport camp down at St Paul's and at the Lion Centre. We're going to make it very accessible for everybody. So we're having to actually charge for this one, but we've made it very cheap for people to come on it. And it's just them to learn different skills, not just all a football camp. We realised that during the last year that children want to play different sports. They don't just want to play football. They want to have a go at basketball and cricket and handball and volleyball. So we're just going to put on a camp that's just going to be full of them learning different skills. And if they want to book on it, all they've got to do is email the MCT or email me, and we'll put them straight onto the register. So that is Sean Daly, which is sdaly@millwallcommunity.org.uk. And we've got about 50 places at St Paul's and 50 places at the Lion Centre.
Excellent. Sean, quick one from me. What highlights have we got coming up on the at the Millwall Community Trust?
So I have, starting the end of next week, I have one of my homeless projects starting again, where we're taking some young people that are either sleeping on the streets or are in sheltered accommodation. We're going to have 10 weeks with them. They're coming to see us once a week. We're going to do workshops around CVs, try and get them into employment, do workshops around resilience and team building. So I've got that starting next week. I've also got the Kick and Cook project starting at Riverside School next week, which I know that you covered last week. So we've got those little bits going on at the moment. We've got the walk on Sunday for Mind, for mental health, leaving from the Den, going up to St Paul's. And then I've got, in the beginning of November, I've got prison programme starting in Belmarsh. So quite a bit coming on already.
Excellent stuff. Well, thanks again for joining us this evening, Sean. And as always, from all of us, thank you for everything that you do within the community. It really means a lot.
No, thank you very much for all your support. Thank you.
You're more than welcome. Thanks again, Paul. Until next time.
Sure.
Bye.
Paul, Sean.
Cheers.
See you later, Sean. Take care.
See you later. Bye-bye.
See you later.
Bye,
Bye.
Sean.
Right, we're going to take a break there and listen to Bethany Warren describing a most helpful app to the blind and those with low sight.
Hi, Bethany Warren here. Millwall Lionesses have partnered with international smartphone application Be My Eyes. Be My Eyes is an application that truly benefits the poor of sight and the blind, but is supported by those of us that can see.
You might wonder how blind people deal with everyday challenges. Well, normally the answer is simple. We're not that different from you. We play music. We go to school. We go to work. You get the picture. But sometimes the simplest things can be difficult, and we need a pair of eyes.
Connect to first available number.
That's where you come in.
Establishing video connection.
Through your smartphone, Be My Eyes connects the blind with sighted people through a live video connection. Simply choose if you need help or want to help by the click of a button.
That's a nice picture of you and your family, Caroline. Is it for a present? Yes, it's a photo from my parents.
You can help just by installing the Be My Eyes app.
Correct image.
And we'll notify you when someone needs your help. And if you're in the middle of something, don't worry. Someone else will step in. So, would you care to be my eyes?
Download the app onto your smartphone now and help those that need your eyes straight away.
I'm James Kelly, and I have the No One Likes Us Talking team of Patricia, Maslin, Stan, Godwin and Bethany Warren. If you want to help people, this costs you nothing more but some time. Just download the app. People continue to lose their lives due to this dreadful virus or as a consequence of suffering with it. As deaths increase and infections continue and high numbers are being hospitalised too, our thoughts go out to their families, friends and those that take care of them. Additionally, please respect the requirements of transport and other locations in reducing the risk of infection to minimise the possibility of further lockdowns. Also, be accepting of the preference of individuals in how they choose to protect themselves.
First off, what about sponsoring a player? Enjoying a great executive lounge VIP package with family and or friends, or just getting behind the club in a number of different ways. And that includes business propositions from advertising to sponsorship. Just contact the lovely Andrew Stead, as Pat Maslin says, in the commercial department to find out more. The Lions Roar magazine has not yet hit the streets. Editor-in-Chief Aisha Smith has not been well and we wish her a good recovery. Nonetheless, it is anticipated that the magazine will go on sale at the Zampa Road gates on the day we play Luton at the Den, October the 16th. Good night from me.
And next week, Gary is back on Friday at 8 p.m. to host another Rose Between Two Bottle Brushes show with Debbie Julians, Ted Robinson and George Lampy. From bottle brushes to game changers, the Proper Blokes Club continues to amass an incredible following and their walks take on some fantastic strolls. Come along and join Scott Johnson, the leader in breaking the stigma of men's mental health on any of the walk and talk groups. And there are a good few which also follow water courses. There are regular walks from familiar locations. Just check out the Proper Blokes Club on Twitter and Facebook for arrangements. Good night from me.
Don't forget player sponsorship for the Lionesses is available this season. Why not share the burden between a few of you or even a couple of companies? If you can give them some added support, you can find details on their website. Just put Millwall Lionesses into your browser and you will find them easily enough. Lastly, the Lionesses are still recruiting at the moment. If anybody is interested in coming down to St Paul's Salter Road, Rotherhithe, please email recruitment@millwall-lionesses.com. And I will repeat that, recruitment@millwall-lionesses.com. Or direct message either their Twitter account or Instagram account, Millwall_LFC. Don't forget, Millwall Romans and Pride need you to go along on Wednesday nights at 7:30 p.m. St Paul Sports Ground and introduce yourself to player manager Paul Loding to find out about joining them. Good night.
Lastly, let's not forget to keep it safe on the streets out there. Don't forget you'll be able to listen to the No One Likes Us Talking team bring in reports from both our home and away games and updates on Millwall Community Matters too, on Maritime Radio broadcasting on 96.5 FM. That's it from me. Thanks Pat, Stan and Bethany. But before we go, why not listen to the first of the new Millwall No One Likes Us Talking podcasts that are featured monthly, which included last week's former player, Phil Coleman. Links are on our Facebook, Twitter and social media sites and all popular podcasting sites. Thanks. That's it from us. Good night.
S-C-O-P-P-I